You're welcome to this channel where we give you back-to-back information to all Biafrans and every indigenous people. You can see how crazy and how stupid the indigenous, most especially the Yorubas, have been. If you can look at their faces there, the Yorubas, the middle belt, because of what they call stomach infrastructure, they can't use their brain. Look at the figures there of what this lady embezzled in roughly 6-7 months. And people are coming out to say this nonsense they are doing. You can see how deprived they have made the entire population, that they can give some of them just 5,000 naira, 1,000 or whatever, and they can come out and start singing for this. Look at the banner they did. You can see the ghost. Even if the painter of the team will say it's a job, but if he has a brain, he will ignore. I can't do this kind of nonsense because they are thinking faculty is over. They've deprived people to the level that they can't think. That even you throw crumbs to them, they will rush at it. The good news is that what they planned, who I'm talking about is the Fulanis, the damn Fulanis, they should do to the indigenous people leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, did not come. He is their cure. Their plan was that they were supposed to send him to the other side of the world, send him to the early grave. That was the plan. Despite the unjust detention, the man for Biafra referendum remains my goal, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu declared. If he declared it, I don't know how he declared it, but that was the vision he had for a long time. Because he was a young man that was strong and believing that Nigeria could work rather. But after a long time, he discovered Nigeria can never work. So then he turned back to that. This is time to separate from this country. The Biafran Republic government in exile, led by Prime Minister Simon Ekpa, has been involved with a lot of things, especially with the forthcoming self-declaration convention that will be coming up on October and November, and the e-voting that will start on the first day of February 2024. This is to get our consent in a legal process where it could be recorded and it could be shown to every so-called world power or Western power in the future to come. Because we need this to show that people are with us. But actually, they've actually showed it. The people have actually showed it by the constantly sit at home that is being organized in the southeastern part of the country every morning, which is called Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Day. And that's why we keep delegitimizing the various parts of the military, checkpoint, police, and the rest. Like today, there was a real rage on the pipelines of this country, or rather of the Islamic State of Nigeria, that keeps using companies to siphon the funds of the country. Let me give it to you from the Prime Minister's speech. Breaking: another major oil pipeline is currently on flame. 23rd of January 2024. The Biafran force is determined to stop the flow of oil revenue to Ňîğerian Islamic State. The oil is in Biafran territory and Nigeria is using the revenue generated from the oil to fund terrorism. Our target is to completely crash the economy to stop the terrorist government anti-Biafra declaration. This is a good one, and we know that all work and all hands on deck, Biafra declaration cannot be stopped, because according to the World Chapter, which is governed by United Nations, and every Western country knows about it, that self-determination is a right and self-defense is a right. These people have the right to defend themselves from every oppression of the Islamic State. Some months ago, or rather some days ago, there was what they call Ňîğerian, What is the meaning of Ňîğerian? They were launched by the Nasarawa state government to do what? The purpose is to make Islamic law in that state. Nasarawa state is majority of indigenous people. The laws are going to be called Sharia law, which is put upon Christians. These indigenous people, most of them are Christians, and Sharia law is a law of the Islamic state. And you're putting a law upon the Christians. That means you are going to Islamize them. That's what you want to do. Now, Ňîğerian is to checkmate every Christian. Now, who are these Ňîğerian? They'll be using Islamic laws upon indigenous people who are Christians. You can see that there will be more clashes in the future to come. And the government is closing the blind eyes. The Tifnumbu administration is closing the blind eye on this. And he could not even say, who are you? The last time Mazi Nnamdi Kanu people called IPOB, and he erected a network called Eastern Security Network. Instantly, it was cancelled. But now, the terrorist government of the Islamic State, the so-called elite of the jihadists, of the Fulani, erected Ňîğerian, and the government cannot say, we don't want that. You can see the aggressive oppression against other indigenous people, but when it comes to the time of the Fulanis, nothing is being done. This is what has to stop. This is what has to end. But the only way is the disintegration of Nigeria. The contraction that was done in 1941 by Lord Lugard has to be decontracted. More of this case of the death of the former chief of army staff is unfolding, because this former chief of staff, T.Y. Danjuma, was also making a reference that that case should be investigated. The need of investigation is just a waste of time, because we all know who is involved and the purpose why they did it is to silence the man. And if you can see, they also tried to silence this Major General too. They tried to silence him. He was locked up for 64 days. Or is it 64 days or 68 days? I think one of those. And despite the fact he still spoke out, but many of them are going to lose their life because they should have spoken out early against this oppression, but they didn't speak out early. Now that they are much older, that their energy is being reduced or incapacitated now, it's difficult to take more action now. I wish they have spoken when they were young, like the Major General. They are still agile and physically agile. They still have more loyalists to them. But now you have a lot of so-called repented Boko Haram as a recruited army that won't listen to you. And the ones that were from the southern, west, southeast, many of them have been sent to fight against terrorism in the north, and they have been killed. And you have little armed men that could listen to you now. The ones that are armed are not of your tribe. So you are going to dance to the tune of the music. On this case, I will be closing the curtain right now. Thank you for listening.